Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
As we are all aware that on August 5th, the construction of the Ram temple will begin. And we also know that there was a long movement spanning over 500 years, which has preceded the construction of the temple. In 1528, Babur had got the Ram temple destroyed at Ayodhya. And then from then onwards, there has been a continuous struggle to build the Ram temple. But this movement especially gained momentum in two phases post-independence era. The first phase was in 1950, from 1949 onwards for over the next few years, and then in 1980s when the Vishnu Parishad and some other organizations took up this cause and built up a massive movement. Now, as the temple construction is going to start tomorrow, it would be interesting to see that there are some unsung heroes, or there are certain personalities about which the present generation might not be knowing, but which played a stellar role, a very important role in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. So let's try and revisit this movement, and let's talk about some of these interesting personalities and who had a great influence on Ram Janmabhoomi movement, whose culmination we are going to witness tomorrow when the construction of the Ram temple will begin. So first we'll we'll talk about Bairagya Viram Das. So in 1949, on the night of 22nd and 23rd December, when at the disputed structure, the statue of Lord Ram appeared overnight suddenly. So that was one of the key defining points or key turning points of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. A case was lodged against a group of people, and Bairagya Viram Das was one of them. He was considered to be the group of the leader who had allegedly planted that statue there, though the Hindus had claimed that the statue had emerged. Anyway, Bairagya Viram Das was a Naga Sadhu. He was a resident of Ayodhya. He was born in Darbhanga, Bihar. He was a very good wrestler, not much educated, but he was a member of the Hindu Mahasabha and belonged to Ramanandi Sampradaya. He is known as Uddharak Baba. Basically, an ascetic who actually, resurrected the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. So he was a prime accused in this case of 1949 when the FIR was lodged, and he passed away in 1981. Then we have Devraha Baba, known to be a highly spiritual saint. He used to stay on the banks of Saryu River near Devariya district in Uttar Pradesh. They were the who's who of in not only India but abroad were ardent followers of Devraha Baba. His birth, where did he born, or in which year he born, it always remained a mystery. His life remained largely a mystery, and people only knew that he lives on the banks of the Saryu River near Devariya. And his followers included Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the first president of India, Babu Rajendra Prasad. So, he was revered not only by the common people or the VIPs, but also by the Hindu religious leaders also. So he presided over the Dharm Sansad in January 1984 at Kumbh in Prayagraj, where a decision was taken collectively by Hindu religious and spiritual leaders, and this decision was very important, and again one of the defining moments of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. The decision was to lay foundation stone of the Ram temple in Ayodhya on 9th November 1989. Now it is said that when the decision was taken, and after that there was a stalemate, and Rajiv Gandhi, who was the prime minister at that time, so he was under the pressure of his party not to let this foundation stone being laid down. So he went to Devraha Baba to seek his advice, and Devraha Baba told him, "Bachcha ho jane do." This is what he said precisely, and it has been reported at several places. which basically meant that Devra Baba told Rajiv Gandhi that let the foundation stone ceremony happen and let the foundation stone for the Ram temple be laid. Now we come to Moropant Pingle. Moropant Pingle was a senior RSS Pracharak. He was from Nagpur. He graduated from Nagpur and became from Morris College in Nagpur, and in early 1940s he became an RSS Pracharak, a full-timer. He had worked with the founder of founder of RSS, Dr. Hedgewar also. Pingle was the, you can say, what typically we say, the backroom boy. And Pingle was very good in strategizing the movements on the ground. So all the major yatras which happened during the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, and all the and the Shila Pujan, which was a massive program under which more than 3 lakh bricks were worshipped across the country and were sent to Ayodhya for laying the foundation stone. So he was one of the key strategists and key planners for all these yatras and movements on the ground. And Pingle's specific characteristic was that he would always like to work behind the scenes and kept a very, very low profile. Then we have Mahant Avadhinath. Mahant Avadhinath was the first president of the Ram Janmabhoomi Mukti Yagya Samiti, and also he was president of another key organization, Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas Samiti. So both these organizations played a key role in steering the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. Born as Kripa Singh Bisht, Mahant Avadhinath became head of the Goraksha Peeth in Uttar Pradesh in Gorakhpur in 1969. And he was also a member of the Hindu Mahasabha. He was a 5-time MLA and a 4-term MP of Lok Sabha from Gorakhpur. He was also made one of the accused in the Babri Masjid demolition case, which was filed after demolition of Babri Masjid in 1992. Some people call it disputed structure, but in the common parlance it is known as Babri Masjid. Then we have Swami Bamdev, a very short a saint who was very short in height, almost about, you can say, 4.5 feet, but very tall in stature and very soft spoken. Bamdev played a key role in bringing various Hindu religious leaders together at one platform for this movement, and he presided over a very, very crucial meeting which was held in Jaipur in 1984. More than 400 Hindu religious leaders and spiritual leaders, they got together, brainstormed for 15 days to put together the future roadmap of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. Swami Bamdev was leading the car sevaks from the front in 1990 when Mulayam Singh Yadav got the local police and other security forces fired on when Mulayam Singh Yadav ordered the firing on the car sevaks, and a number of car sevaks had died. And he was, despite his old age, he was also present in Ayodhya on December 6, 1992, when the disputed structure was on Ram Janmabhoomi was demolished by car sevaks. Then we have Shiri Dikshit. Shiri Dikshit was an IPS officer and he was Director General of Uttar Pradesh Police in 1982 to 84. After his retirement, he joined Vishnu Parishad as the Vice President of the organization. He played a key role in strategizing the movements of the car sevaks because of his past experience in police force. So he knew how the system works. So he could always find ways and means to ensure that car sevaks reached Ayodhya, or how the logistic management was done. So he was arrested also. He was also arrested in 1990 for participating in Ram Janmabhoomi movement during the car seva in Ayodhya. He was interestingly elected as a member of the parliament from the prestigious Varanasi constituency in 1991. Now this constituency is being represented by none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi since 2014. Then Vishnu Dalmia is another personality. He was a very low-profiled person, despite belonging to a very well-known and very one of the oldest industrialist families in the country. So Dalmia was president of the Vishnu Parishad from 1992 to 2005, and when Shri Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas was set up in 1985 to play an important role in this movement. So he was made the treasurer of the organization. He was also arrested after the demolition of Babri Masjid at Ram Janmabhoomi on 6 December 1992. Dawood Khanna is another interesting personality. He was a Congress leader in early 1960s, and then he was a health minister in the Congress-led government in Uttar Pradesh in 1960s. And he was the one who actually brought up the issue of Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi, that is building up of or reconstruction of temples at Ayodhya, Mathura and Kashi, where they were destroyed. And he brought this up through a resolution in 1983 in a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh. And his initiative actually, I would say, proved to be the key catalyst in restarting the Ram Janmabhoomi movement in 1980s. And in September 1984, he led one of the first yatras of this movement from Sitamarhi in Bihar. And in the end, we'll talk about Kothari brothers, Ram Kumar Kothari and Sharad Kumar Kothari. Ram Kumar Kothari was 20 years old and Sharad Kumar Kothari was 23 years old. Both of them were real brothers. They were from Calcutta, which is now known as Kolkata. And they had come to perform car seva in Ayodhya in December 1990. So they were in the first batch of car sevaks when they performed the car seva on October 30th. And then when they went to perform the car seva again on 2nd of November, both of them were shot dead at the point blank range by the police. And it is said that they were actually dragged out. One of them was dragged out from a house and was shot dead. Their killing was the killing of Kothari brothers outraged Hindus across the nation, and they were treated as martyrs of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. And they were treated as, at that point of time, next few years, they were considered to be the heroes of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. And in 1990s, the killing of Kothari brothers, their martyrdom, became one of the key catalysts for attracting a large number of youth to this movement. Kothari brothers were the only two children of their parents. And so these are some of the personalities who contributed a lot in the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. And I think it's interesting to have a look at their profile and recall what they have done at this juncture when the construction of Ram Temple is going to begin, and for which all of them made huge sacrifices and gave away their lives also. Thank you.